She's chirping away today.
I thought I'd continue with our butt themed series.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, great.
I love it.
We were on vacation last week.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime did this happen to you while you were gone too? I mean, any medication or no medication, eating is always strange when you're not at home. Like everything gets out of whack.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
But you cannot get constipated when you're on medication. And so this is the second time this has happened to me. The first time I just didn't tell you because I was like, yeah, I'm going to pretend that never happened. But
wow.
I thought it was
well. We've come a long way in our relationship, dear. So
sure.
we're at the we talk about our bowel movement stage. I think this is progress.
We have
That's all
made
I'm
it.
saying.
I know.
It's like we've arrived. Okay.
But so I mean, anyone who's had kids probably had a hemorrhoid here or there. So I thought that's what was happening, but it was like a mega hemorrhoid, and it's actually I had a fissure.
Oh God. Those
which
are the
I
worst.
discovered, like I had to figure out what that was while it was happening. And my doctor gave me a bunch of stuff and I thought that I got it to go away. But man, that first one took close to a month to heal.
Yeah, they're a whole lot of no fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you've had this?
Uh-huh. Yeah. I think it's a lot more common than you think, and nobody talks about it.
I think it probably is.
Yeah. So if anybody listening, you have ever had an anal fissure, you're not alone.
All right, sweet. I got another one on vacation.
Fantastic.
So, and this was the day my mom and dad got the pontoon boat rented at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And so in the morning, I was like, okay, I got to get a prescription called in. But I'm in northern Minnesota, so I'm texting, God bless my doctor, because I have I pay for a concierge doc, which makes me sound really fancy. It's not that fancy. It's not an expensive membership. And what I get from this membership is the ability to text my doctor whenever, wherever, and however I want and get an answer right away. I don't have to call. I don't have to go in. I don't have to make an appointment. Basically, what I pay for is I can just text her and she can call stuff in. And it's been very, very worth it.
That's awesome. I love it.
So I do that at 8, whatever in the morning, and I don't hear anything back all morning. So around lunchtime, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try again. Then I call. She's got a virtual assistant. I call a virtual assistant. She gets on top of it, and then I hear back. And she calls it in, but by now, I don't have time to go into town to pick it up and then make it back in time for the pontoon. So we get back from the pontoon ride, and my mom's like, everybody meet for dinner at 5:00, like old people time.
Mm-hmm.
I go, Mom, I need enough time to go get my prescription. And everyone on the freaking pontoon goes, for what?
Oh, God. Oh, hell.
And I
be like, you don't ask questions that you don't want the answer to is the
I said,
no. I would just say it. I would just be like, well, thank you for asking, but this is what's going on. Do you have any other questions that I can answer for you right now? Because, or do you want to shut up? Those are your choices.
Yeah. So anyway, I said, I have an issue. And that was it. That was enough. Nobody asked a follow-up question. My sister is a wound care nurse, and I thought for sure she was going to push me, but she didn't. She probably was like, she'll tell me if she wants to tell me.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't.
At least one of them is smart enough to
didn't want any advice from a wound care nurse about how to heal a wound.
It just cannot.
Isn't that stupid?
That is so
Here's
fantastic.
a wound care nurse sitting next to me who all she does is help people heal wounds, especially I think a lot of those kinds of wounds are like in her scope.
Weird thing. Exactly. Oh my God.
I'm not telling her.
That's so great.
Yeah. So
you're oh, it's so good. Oh,
how are you?
I'm fine. I'm better than you. That's what I am.
The bar's low.
Stop. Oh, hell. God. Okay. Yeah, I'm fine. Haven't had a lot of weight loss progress since I pretty much stayed the same weight since we talked last time. So, I'm good. Just doing summer and going to the pool and
Do you do you were in the pool yesterday. I guess you don't need a bath.
oh yeah. In the summertime, like
Every
if she
day.
gets a bath once a week, literally, I am fine with that.
The only thing holding me back from basically giving up baths for the summer is that if I take her to my hairdresser who also cuts her hair,
Mm-hmm.
I get like the worst lecture about the condition
chlorine.
of her. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so Melanie, the devil Melanie, is always on my shoulder going, you need to wash her hair.
Yeah. And as a former hairdresser, I totally get that. Mm-hmm. So I get it. But
hair grows back.
It's not a big deal. Like it just isn't. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was like she was competitively swimming in pools that are loaded with chlorine.
Oh yeah, we are.
Hours and hours and hours a day. You know what I mean? Like that would be different, maybe. But if you're taking to the pool, even if you're doing the pool every day, how long are you there on average? A couple of hours?
Yeah, maybe.
It's not a big deal.
I didn't know you did
really
hair.
Isn't.
Was that your...
How did you not know that?
I don't know. I just filed it away, maybe. Was that your OG career? You were a hairdresser first?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Isn't your brother a hairdresser too?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I started doing hair in 2002, 2003. Mm-hmm. Did it for about 15 years, and then I kind of got burnt out on it, and then I switched over to real estate. And that's what I'm kind of doing now, I guess. I mean, I don't really know, but
did you get burned out on the hair part or on telling the same story 17 times a day?
The hair part physically. It was yeah. So it was a lot of like shoulder problems, neck problems, and it was, and it was just became like really exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it was kind of like I'm evolving in my life, and I love like the artistic part of it, but you got to deal with people, and I kind of was just over it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I hope any of my former clients are listening. Like I don't. This isn't personal, y'all. It just was a lot, and I just was in this place where it was like I just needed a break. So I did a few other things in the meantime and kind of settled on like real estate-y things. So that's kind of what I do now. But
yeah,
I would really like to just not work at all. I really would like to just be independently wealthy, and I haven't figured that out yet. Anybody got any secrets you want to pass on to me? That'd be great, because I just don't want to work. I'm just like overworking. And I'm like too young to be overworking.
This is totally random, but there's a subreddit that gets like stuck in my feed sometimes called, I forget what it's called, but it's people who have two full-time jobs because they can work remotely. There's this whole category of people who now have two remote jobs that they do simultaneously.
Yes, I have heard of this.
And they get two salaries. The only person I have ever known who actually did it before it was a thing. And then he killed his wife and was sent to jail for murder. And so I just associate that
with like
behavior
lunatics?
with like extreme dishonesty. Well, it is kind of dishonest.
It's totally.
As your employer, I expect your full attention.
Yeah, there's people where they'll literally have a laptop, and they just go back between the two of them all day long and do two totally full-time remote jobs. Absolutely. It's a thing. There was and in fact it was, and the reason I was kind of looking into it, or like just it was kind of an interesting subject to me, is because some of the jobs I had been applying for were trying to combat that somehow. So I don't know if there was like I don't know. Anyways, they were But it's totally a thing. Mhm. But
Crazy.
I know. Well, should we do our numbers? I kind of did mine because I was like, I haven't lost anything since last time.
I haven't gotten on the scale since before vacation. I meant to do it this morning, but now
Yeah, I did. I'm at the same. I'm at
I've had like
225.
2 pounds of coffee today.
Oh, wait till tomorrow. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it's still 199. If it's not, actually, you know what? I bet it's not. I bet it's lower because I noticed that my face changed again.
Really?
Yeah. Yesterday I took a picture of myself. Actually, our recording platform will take a snapshot. I don't know if you can see it on the right. Like it's showing me going like this right now from earlier in this recording. And yesterday
I kind of got resting bitch face on mine, but it's fine.
Mine was a side view yesterday and I looked like a thin person on the little snapshot. So I took a screenshot of it because I was like, wow, who is that?
Crazy. Yeah.
It's exciting.
So I know. Have we, well, last time we talked about maybe doing more episodes more often.
Oh, yes. I have 2 bonus episodes in the works. One is with Johnny Franco.
Okay.
I listened to it this morning. It's so good. He's just so good and so easy to talk to. And I was kind of funny, so I liked it.
Yeah. Does he talk about butt stuff?
Did he talk about? No, we did not talk about butt stuff. But you know what? The other doctor who I have a bonus with, her name is Dr. Misra, and she lost a lot of weight on semaglutide. She emailed this morning and I asked her if she would consider being a recurring expert on our show to come in once in a while and talk to us about some of the more serious things and the research that she's seeing.
Nice.
And so she said she would listen and let us know. So I hope, crossing my fingers, that she'll say yes, because she's an obesity medicine specialist, internal medicine doctor. She's been on it. She's been successful on it. And she loves podcasting. And so I think she'd be a great...
Yay, be on our show.
Yeah.
Woo! That would be exciting.
Yeah. And then other things I've been noticing, there's a lot of people talking about microdosing. So...
Interesting.
Yeah.
And that is something that... Millie. Hush. That is something I'm wondering if that would be a good, like, maintenance thing to do. Where you're maybe doing, like, a quarter of the dose or an eighth of the dose or something. Then...
Right.
Because to me, just paying for it out of pocket, when you get... So the vial that I get is 12 milliliters, 12 something. I'm so sorry. I'm really terrible with that stuff.
The milliliter thing, unit thing is really hard for a lot of people.
Okay, because I don't fucking get it.
And my take is...
I go to 12 or do whatever. So I'm like, oh, well, if I can get that and I can do a much smaller dose after I've kind of hit my goal, and that'll help just kind of curb my appetite where I'm, you know what I mean? I would think that would be fantastic. And any research on that would be awesome.
Well, I was thinking about it because Dr. Franco mentioned it in this little clip that I am releasing tomorrow as the bonus, right? By the time this episode comes out, it will be last week's episode. So sorry about that. Back to the future timing there. But he said since he stopped taking it, he had only prophylactically taken it twice. And both times it was because he was going to hang out with his brother and he didn't want to eat too much. So, what the funny thing about all of this is that those of you who have a vial, you can just decide, I'm just going to take this much today, or I'm going to take that much today.
Yep.
Where I get mine, they're preloading the syringes for me. So I don't have to think about units, milligrams, milliliters. And I sort of think that they're doing you a disservice by making you do all that math, because it's already a stretch to make you do your own injection. Like for most people, that's a hurdle we have to overcome and get used to.
Yeah.
But you're also like taking the risk of dosing yourself wrong into your own hands, which I don't have to think about. And so I was pondering all the reasons why I think a plastic surgery office is a great place to get to go on a weight loss program. Not just because you're going to get wrinkles and loose skin, but because you're putting that sort of safety burden on them and not yourself. And that's not the same as getting it from telemedicine. And I'm not unhappy that people can get this from telemed because I think it's amazing and I'm glad it's available that way. But I feel much more supported, I think, because I can go in and stand in front of these people and I hold them accountable in that way, that they have to see me. They can't just turn off the computer. They know I'm coming back every month to see them. And that comes with all the celebrating and I can ask them whatever I want because I'm sitting right there, and it's just different. I think it's better.
The human contact and the human, face-to-face support is definitely important, and there's a lot of value in that. So, and that's something that don't get with the way that I'm doing it, which is where I have in case you're just tuning in, I get my semaglutide from a virtual doctor's office, essentially. They do all kinds of weight loss stuff. You never go in person. It's all virtual or over email and video calls. And sometimes it's not even a video call. Sometimes it's just like legitimately a phone call. And I get it from a compounding pharmacy. I get my vial. I dose myself, So now, if I was doing this like solo and I didn't have you, Eva, to like talk to and like feel like I've got a support system, it would be very difficult because I would feel like I'm like an army of one in an island by myself. And it's not that I couldn't find a support group on Facebook and all this stuff, but like I have a love-hate relationship with social media, and so that would just be really difficult.
Yeah.
I will say, though, feeling like I'm in control of my dose every week, I do like that portion of it. Because, like, for instance, I dose on Sundays. So this past Sunday, I did 25 units, because the week before I did 30 and it was a little bit too much. So I'm like, I'm going to dial it back a little bit. And I felt like so much better this week.
I bet.
Granted, I didn't lose much at all because like I basically have maintained, which is fine. But the other thing is like I have not been making great choices. Okay, like let's just be real. So it's a combination of, making good choices and whatever. And it's like, yeah, okay, so I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So,
I just feel like you probably, I'm happy that I'm your safety net, but I feel like if you could text your doctor and just say, here's what I did. What do you think I should do?
Yeah, I can. So they have a patient portal app.
Yeah.
It's like Charm something. I don't know. Anyways, so I message in there, I get a response right away. So it's not as instant as like a text message. And there was one time that I did have to follow up with phone calls. So I was like, hey, I emailed the doctor about this. And it was when I needed a copy, like a printout from the doctor for me to travel that I didn't actually take. It was then. So, but I called the office and I was like, hey, I emailed whoever and I haven't heard back, but I really need this thing because I'm leaving on Friday. And she's like, oh God, no problem. And it was in my inbox like that afternoon. So, I'm not totally all hanging out by myself, but I don't, go into an office every month and talk to people and do that stuff. So I can definitely see the pros to how you're doing things.
Yeah. Well, I hope that all the weird stuff we talk about helps other people, because what I'm sort of mission driven about podcasting in general is helping people who are going through medical journeys of any kind not feel like they're alone by, sharing all our embarrassing and horrible experiences. Now there's a fruit fly on my microphone.
Oh, that's cute.
Ugh. Where'd you come from, you little jerk? Wasn't there a bug on my stuff last week? Or was that a different?
I don't know. That was no.
Oh, no. I was talking about breast cancer with Kristen, and I was and there was a fly dive bombing me while she was telling me about her PET scan. It was really appropriate.
It's like, why does this happen to us? Oh my God.
It's the universe trying to bring humor to the seriousness of everything.
So I just will, now that we're talking about bugs, I have to talk about I have a really fear of bugs. I just, like they just fucking creep me out. I cannot stand it. And my daughter, now we live in the Midwest, in case anybody doesn't know, I live in Indianapolis, Indiana. And we have fireflies here, which are so pretty. And they're, it's just a cool, very Midwest thing. And so she wanted to go firefly hunting. Well, of course, sunset isn't until after 9. And so it was like 10 o'clock before we're just like running out. And so she had to get a container, like a plastic container. And she wanted to catch them, which means I had to catch them. And then she was like, and there's one. And then I caught it and it was this big old beetle. It was so gross.
Oh, the firefly or it was a different bug?
No, I caught a different bug. I caught a beetle, like a little brown beetle. I'm like, what? Seriously. And then she's like, I said, Cordelia, I don't like this, but I'm doing it for her because like core memories and like, oh, I remember firefly hunting with my mom when I was a kid. Like, that's what I'm trying to like go for. And so I'm like, I'm going to because normally my husband would go do it, but he works nights now. So I was like, I got to bite the bullet and deal with this. So, but and then I was trying to let it out, but then we were trying to keep the other ones in. And I was like, I'm ready to go. Can we just be done now? She's like, okay. Because then I let it out and it was flying around her. And then she's freaking out and screaming bloody murder up and down the sidewalk in between the apartment complex next door and all of my residents. And I was like, all right, let's just get the heck out of here. Wait, it gets better. And so I like take a step and I feel something squish between my toes. I had stepped on some other kind of bug, and I have bug guts now in between my toes in my freaking flip-flops. No. And I'm like, where is the nearest cliff and how can I jump off it? Because I'm done. Right?
Oh, gross.
So I'm like, okay, mommy just stepped on, I have bug guts on my feet now. Cordelia, can I please? Can we go? Yeah, Mom, it's okay. Oh, is it? All right, let's go. So I would walk back. And then, of course, there's a neighbor walking her dog. And so we have to talk to the dog and pet the dog and do all the things. And it's just really great. And I'm like, meanwhile, bug guts in my toes. So finally get in, finally wash my feet. Like, it was a whole thing. So I hope that I've created a beautiful memory for my daughter of firefly hunting with her mom.
Do you find they remember the weirdest things? Like they just have these, they will remind me of the strangest. Next time it happens, I'll write it down.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
You just have the oddest recollections. Like
I know. And do your girls like remember stuff that happened like years ago?
Oh yeah, all the time.
And they'll just be like out of the blue say, well, do you remember that one time we were at that one place and this thing happened? Yeah. And I'm like, you were like 3 years old. How do you even, why is that? She remembers like almost every house we've lived at. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, it's, or she'll say something about, well, yeah, that one time that you promised me to do that one thing 6 or 7 months ago. Well, why didn't you do it?
Right. Mom.
And then it's like, and then she's looking at you like, I can't believe I have to like coach you on how to be a good mother. Like it's this, I'm like, okay. I birthed you. So I think I'll do what I want. But then she's like, well, but then this like, she's like, okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, the judgment. Like, I know.
I was like, it wasn't that long ago that you were peeing your pants on a regular basis. Okay.
Yesterday.
All right. So, and you can't even hardly brush your teeth by yourself. So you want to judge me when you're an adult and you have an education and you own a home and maybe you have kids, then that's totally fine. Otherwise, cork it.
I started watching Game of Thrones, whatever that thing's called.
Oh, House of the Dragon?
Yeah, I started watching season 2 last night at 11 o'clock. I was like, I'll
Why
just
did you
watch
do
a
that?
little bit.
Oh, you're so full of shit. You fucking binge watch every episode. Was it like 2 a.m. before you went to bed?
No, I actually did fall asleep, but then I woke up like 45 minutes into it when some horrible thing was happening, and I was like, ah!
And then you were traumatized.
And then I had to turn it off. Yeah. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I haven't dove into that yet, mostly because it's something that my husband and I would typically watch after Cordelia goes to bed, which is proving difficult because he doesn't get home till 10:30, 11 at night.
Mm-hmm.
And so usually it's like I'm already asleep, or it's like we chat for 30 minutes and then I go to sleep. So so that's been challenging.
Yeah, nights is really hard.
Yeah, he does have weekends off, so that's good. But
before we go, I can't believe I forgot this till right now, but we'll save it for next time because I don't really know anything anyway. But I got a subpoena in the mail yesterday because my neighbor's husband was arrested for domestic violence. And I had notes from a year of watching what was going on over there. I would just write down things that I saw. And so it became...
Okay, Mrs. Kravitz.
Well, we figured out... Yeah, I don't know who Mrs. Kravitz is.
Mrs. Kravitz, it's the nosy neighbor lady from Bewitched. Wasn't it that the show?
It was. But you can't
Mrs.
call
Kravitz?
me that because... Okay, so remember earlier I said the guy who had 2 jobs murdered his wife?
Oh, yeah? Was that guy?
No. But
okay. I was like, whoa, what?
That happened.
We need a whole other podcast now.
That happened in 2016. And that was a family that we were really close to. And everybody was shocked. And it's a whole nother podcast all by itself. It's a true crime podcast combined with a cult, combined with like all kinds of weird... It's a huge story. It's way too much for right now. It was on 2020 and Dateline. It's that big of a story. And we were...
Oh, it sounds like it.
Yeah. Okay, so...
So you have notes from the domestic violence situation.
When that happened...
And you got a subpoena. Yeah.
I said to myself after that, I didn't do anything. But if I ever see it again, I'm not going to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here it is happening across the street. A year ago, I started noticing it in the spring, so like 14 months ago, that things were not good over there. And so I was like, well, I said I wouldn't do nothing, but what does that even mean? Now I have to figure out what nothing is.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I thought, well, at least if I see something, I will write it down so that if she ever needs me to back her up on something, I have a document, like I have a log.
Right, you have exactly.
And that's exactly what happened was when he's been arrested multiple times. And when it finally got to the detective, then the detective came over and said, what have you seen? And I was like, well, you want to see my list? Here you go. I'll catch you up on what the subpoena is about next time. Is that cool?
That's great. Yes.
Okay.
It's weight loss and crime. This is a new genre we just created.
I actually have been trying to figure out how to cross aesthetics and true crime. So maybe we just...
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. I will think about that because I'm all about it.
Okay, cool. All right. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Later.
Follow us on Instagram at Less of You Podcast. Are you confronting the same challenges and have a story to tell? I'd love to hear your story on our Skinny Shot Stories podcast. Contact me for more details at skinnyshotstories.com. If you're a doctor and would like to learn more about sponsoring this or any of our cosmetic surgery and weight loss podcasts, go to lessofyou.com. Less of You is a production of The Axis, TAGAXIS.io.